Hey guys, how we doing? I'm JC with HangarReady, and we've got a good show, I think, set up for tonight. With me tonight, as always, are my partners in crime. Jolly, how you doing this evening?
Doing great. Good evening, everybody.
Followed by Jolly is Turing. How you doing this evening, Turing Atmos?
Wonderful. Glad to see you.
Good. Then we've got Callie Josh. How you doing, Josh?
I'm great. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining another show.
Cool. And then we have Nomidius.
Hey, evening.
Good evening. And finally, last and certainly least, we have Hendrosa.
What's going on, everybody?
I'm teasing. We love Hendrosa for the most part. Okay. I think we've got a pretty good show that the guys came up with. I'm feeling a hair bit under the weather, but Jolly and Turing and Namidius and Callie, Josh all came together and came up with a great show. So I think our first thing is that we're going to go over 311. It released since our last episode, and yeah, I'm excited about 311. Maybe there's some stuff in there that's pretty fun. Turing, I think you're going to lead us off about that. Okay.
Sure. So I was the person who did not follow what I had been taught in school. And when Jolly put in a little note that said, "Hey, nobody's dropped anything about 311," I did. And so I get stuck with introducing the segment for tonight. So thanks, Jolly.
Roll.
I fell for it again. We're going to go over just
Rascally
a few
rabbit.
things in 311 because there's been a lot of stuff that's dropped. So quickly, we're going to cover cargo decks, the relaxing of the armistice around space stations, the new Origin 100 series, some inventory mechanics, and round that out with some in-game events that SIG currently has. So the first segment is cargo decks, and I've entitled this, they look great, sound great, but that's about it. So far, there are no new cargo or trade-related missions in the game. In fact, you're still stuck with what I call the slow trifecta, the 8,000 credit 3 package deal that you're lucky if 50% of the time the thing works. So that's about it. And it's kind of a bummer to me because I really thought they would have some additional trade and cargo play that's there. What can you do in the cargo deck? First off, it looks fantastic. So the art team at CIG has done a fantastic job. It really is immersive. You feel like the only thing missing is the machine oil and the ozone smell from some arc welder somewhere. I mean, it really does look like you're in a cargo deck. The sound of it is there. So both the visual and effects guys and the visual art guys and the sound effects team have done a wonderful job. There is a new place, a cargo ship rental terminal that's there. It's very limited in choice. I think just 3 ships right now. The Freelancer, the Cutlass Black, and the Avenger Titan, if I remember that correctly.
I think so, yeah.
So that you can rent those, which is really strange since I think everybody still gets a free Freelancer, but you can rent it there too. So don't get fooled by the cargo ship rental terminal there. There's also a new mining shop area for the mining backpack, your multi-tool, and some work clothes if you want to look like a miner from Hurston. It's really good that they have the mining backpack there and the multi-tool. No longer do you have to trek all the way over to Lorville or some other place to get the multi-tool. These cargo decks are at the 3 planetary orbitals, so you won't see them at the rest stop. So really, there's some room for some future expansion. If there's some blank terminals at the admin desk, could be some trading consoles in the future. That's just a quick rundown. I don't know if any of the other guys have a quick comment before we move on.
I only have one, and that's the it doesn't extends beyond what we found at the cargo decks, but miner's clothing. When am I going to wear that in the game? I mean, why does it even exist? I'll say the same thing about all the other civilian. I'll call it civilian. Let's put it that stuff I can wear that I can't go outside in. I'm not sure what exists in the game at all. I guess someday they may want to have you want to immerse yourself in a rave party at New Babbage or something like that.
Well, Jolly,
And
I think maybe they have talked in the past, and it's been quite some time about professions. Maybe if you want to end up being the guy that works the refinery deck, or the cargo deck or something like that, then you've got a set of clothes. But I agree. I mean, they're really not useful anywhere. On some of the planets where you and moons where you mine, you were going to die really quick if you wear those things. So yeah.
He has a point. Like, I think the Argus helmet's a perfect example there. It's an open face helmet, and there's no gameplay that benefits from that right now. Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a bug for a while where it worked in vacuum, but that was a bug, and they fixed it. And there were some people that were upset because that was their favorite helmet.
Sounds like fashion to die for.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Well, I mean,
Really.
in all fairness, the mining outfit will work on Hurston. I mean, it's a reasonably temperatured planet with with oxygen. You're not going to die there very quickly from exposure. So, I mean, if you wanted to go mining, especially if you wanted to like drive out of town in a vehicle and go somewhere and go mining, it may make sense to have that versus have a flight suit and armor
Well,
on.
Okay, now I haven't put on a set yet, but is there storage in the civilian attire?
I don't know.
So
I
I
didn't
carry
buy
my
a set.
water or my food as I'm out there mining?
I have no clue because I've never worn it either. I was just trying to be devil's advocate.
Looks good on the mannequin in the shop. That's about
Yes,
it.
it does.
The
Leave it
only
there.
time I wear the civilian clothing is when it is the big in-game events where they're showing off ships and I'm
Yeah.
streaming and I don't want to run around in a flight suit
There you go.
Yeah.
on Area 18. That's the only time I ever do it.
So
So-
again, I was looking forward to some expanded play. Perhaps that will come in the future, maybe in a 311X patch or when they get beyond it. But right now, the cargo gameplay is still exactly like what it was in 310. So with maybe a little bit of fixes to the actual trading in the trading terminals with all the other exploits that were going on.
Yeah.
The next segment is the relaxing of the armistice zones around the space stations. We knew this was coming. It's been put out in several Spectrum posts that they have. Basically, what you have now is ship weapons are free to fire around most stations. And I say most stations because there is a section near Port Olisar where you cannot, even though you haven't landed, even though you're still in space, your ship is not going to, the weapons aren't going to fire. Doesn't mean you can't be fired upon because we've been hit by missiles in that section, but your ship weapons will actually turn off. First-person shooting is still restricted. You can't pull your weapon out while you're on your ship in space around there or on the station itself. And you'll still get an armistice zone warning just like you did before that you're entering it. If you engage in ship combat with anything other than a player that's already tagged red, I believe you get a warning. After that, you get some mighty big firepower that comes down in the improved station defenses, more accurate turrets, and some size 6 and, believe it or not, size 10 floating turret stations out there.
Yeah.
And we've also been teased a little bit, coming soon, a new crime stat heat map or a mechanic that they're putting in that's going to help trigger the security response to the station once things start heating up a little bit. Apparently, it's supposed to take into account all the crime stats for players in that region and spawn the ultimate or appropriate force to you. Think a lot like EVE Online, Concord response potentially. Any thoughts from the group on that?
Boo, hiss.
Well-
The griefers are going to be happy.
I got a different take on that from you, Jay. It's like, I've said this before, but sooner or later you got to take off the floaties and see which kids sink. Okay,
Sure.
Sooner or later they have to take it down. They see where the holes are in the system, but there's going to be some pain in the short term with that. They have to do it sooner or later.
I think it's just perfect to pair that with the Kill 50 event to
Well-
get the Vandal helmet.
I was going to mention that, Josh. That what Numidia says is true until they brought the 50 PK kill event that's happening.
True.
So right now it's just you're lucky to get your ship in time.
Well, there's
Pretty much.
if they had not improved the defenses around the station so dramatically, I'd say it was a bad idea. But they did improve them. I was coming back at a full prospector coming into PO, and I had a red pop up behind me. All I did was fly beyond the Forward All-Star stayed close to it. I just kept the station between myself and the red, and sure enough, the guns took them out. Pretty damn quick, I might add.
Mm.
And just came in for a normal landing. So they have compensated for the fact that there's no fire zone by putting proper defenses out there.
And that's good. I completely agree.
It's also good news for bounty hunters who are having a problem with their marks hiding in the armistice zone and not being able to be engaged. Now they can't hide there.
Good point.
One quick question from the chat: doesn't pad ramming result in an immediate ban if found? I don't believe so. I believe
No.
you will get fined or your ship impounded, but no, you do not get banned for pad ramming.
Yeah, I think it's just a jail sentence like normal.
Yeah.
Androsa, what are your thoughts on this?
So I was kind of testing it out the other day. I liked it. I was kind of going after a couple two batters in the verse there. But yeah, I mean those turrets are definitely upgraded. But I think that they're like S6 to S10 range.
There's a set of S6 and there's a set of S10.
Well,
So,
it's actually two size 9s on the size 10.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
well, size 10 turret, size 9 weapon.
Yeah, I mean they definitely deal out the damage. I mean it makes pretty much quick work of anybody around there. So it's really cooled down. I was looking not necessarily to kind of go for the Vandal helmet the other day because for one I found out that it's not just 50 kills, it's 50 individual player kills. So you can't go after the same person. But yeah, when it brings folks in there, I mean it makes short work of them. So it's literally empty around over there.
Well, it's not just Port All-Star. It's all of the stations at this point are set up that
exactly.
way. So if you can get into the station will protect you at least, unlike before.
Yeah, one of the things I've noticed is when you pop out of Quantum at Port Olisar now, you can immediately begin calling for a pad. So they've closed the distance, I believe, in coming out of Quantum if you're going at least to that station.
Yep.
So that's worked.
Josh, what are your thoughts?
I welcome the change. I think like anything, there's going to be some difficulty in the implementation of it. I do find it hilarious about the kill opportunities that they're now giving for new in-game prizes. I honestly haven't gone to test it yet, but I do support it. I do think that the next step in being able to fire your personal sidearms or whatever in the station, I think that's part of the Wild West experience. So I'm good with it.
Definitely going to change the play environment. Being in a group that can cover each other's backs inside of a planetary area or a station and not get shot in the head is going to be critical, because you definitely can see some less than desirable folks that go out there and purposely try to grief people on like Port Tressler or something inside the station itself versus flying around outside of it.
Yeah, one thing I didn't mention in the cargo deck segment is that with the cargo decks have come a re-engineering of the space stations themselves. If you thought you were a lab rat in a maze when you were playing the alpha, you no longer have to live that actual experience by running through the space stations anymore. You can go and go to an in-transit elevator, which will take you to the various places inside the space station. So that has been a very positive change. Now, when you wake up in the hab, you're right there at the spawn terminals for your ships. They've listened to the community. They put some food and water right there at where you come off, rather than having to go dig all the way down into the main group. So that's really good.
They just
Wow.
haven't fixed Jolly's vending machines yet.
They
Not
haven't
yet,
fixed
but
the bit. No, you still can't drop a dime in Big Benny's or whatever and get something out. But if you're heading up to Everest Harbor, you can pick up a burrito at the burrito stand. I bet you that guy does a bang up business sitting right there.
I will
Yes.
tell you, I have one reason and one reason only I go to the cargo decks right now is that they sell cruise flow, which is pretty much my favorite consumable that I keep on me. That's my only reason to go there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was New Babbage was the only other place you could find that.
Yeah. So Grennan, to answer your question, the admin locations are now at the elevator stop called Galleria. So the Galleria contains the food court and the shops and the admin office, like you like you saw before in the station. The next segment is the 100 series. So CIG has released the Origin 100 starter series. There's a 100, a 125, and a 135. Basically, they mimic the 300, the 325, and if the 300 series had a cargo carrier that was worth anything, it would be the 335, which we don't have, but there's 135 as a cargo carrier. How they look and how they feel, I think, is basically a personal preference. They look like a scaled down version of the 300 series. To me, they don't look as sharp and as you're not driving the Mercedes anymore. You're driving the starter Mercedes that you would get. How they fly, I think they're still tweaking the mechanics of it. When they first came out in the PTU, they flew like bricks, man. They were not all that great, at least in my mind. But they have cargo space. They have pretty decent weapons, a bed, and I think they do a good job in matching the starter ships that are currently in the game, especially the Aurora and the Mustang. Don't think they're quite up to the Avenger yet as far as matching that. I think the Avenger is a better all-around multi-purpose ship than these two. So, Jolly, what are your thoughts on,
Yeah,
on the
I
new starter
pledged a
ships?
100i and I pledged a 135C. Now the 100i, I knew it was going to be an LTI marker, and it was. I've already traded it up to something. I'll be damned if I remember what the hell I bought with it, but another ship running with LTI, so I'm happy. The 135C I decided to keep a hold of. Now I still have an Aurora, which is part of the package. I've just left it there. The Aurora I used just to I'm going to go from point A to point B, and I don't care if you blow up my ship in the route because I'm not going to modify this damn thing. I really don't care what happens to it. I just keep claiming it, and I'm happy. The 135C, like you said, it can carry some cargo, not enough to really make it matter. It lets you carry extraordinarily high value cargo in it. It's really not nothing there at all. It can carry boxes, which is nice. It has a bed, which is nice. But that's about it. Now, what it does have, which is the biggest advantage of this thing, is 700 quantum fuel. So it can move around the systems very well. And that's where it really becomes a step above both the Mustang and the Aurora. So, which I think are outside of being personal transports, both those ships are useless in my opinion. I would never take them into a fight. They can't really do any type of missions. So if you have one, just try to upgrade as soon as you possibly can. It's something else. I don't care what. I agree with you. I think that the Avenger's still a better ship, period. But for the cost, the 135C, I'm going to keep that one. I'll probably take my Aurora, which is part of the package, and I'll upgrade that to another ship that has LTI. So I'll upgrade that one too to something else. Don't know what yet. I'll find out in November probably. But the 135C I'll keep as my personal transport, just to go from point A to point B.
Has anybody flown the 125?
Yeah,
Why
it
did anybody
flies
bother?
pretty much the same. I flew all three of them during PTU, and they all handled about the same.
I'll say this. I actually like the 100 series design better than the 300 series. The 300 series is just way too far up off the ground. It takes way too long to climb up and get into the cockpit. I like the way that they have this where the door opens and you just basically walk in. You don't have to climb up. You can just crawl into it yourself. So, my opinion is that this is, an Avenger is better. Avenger Titan is probably the go-to starter ship, but if you wanted something a little less expensive, the 135 or the 100i would be a better starter ship than a Mustang or an Aurora, in my opinion. Not as good as the Avenger Titan, though.
Yeah. And Joseph, have you flown them?
Yeah, I've flown only the 100i, but I mean, Jay's right. I mean, it's very nice to get into. I do like the mechanics with how they went through and made it interactive, and I mean, it comes with some nice commodities. I mean, so does the Aurora, but you're right. For the bang for your buck, you're getting just a little bit better there. Until you start getting out of reach with some of the starter ships that a lot of folks refer to, such as like the Cutlass. Like the Cutlass Black, but you're going to pay a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't really consider that a starter ship. I mean, I know you can buy it as a starter package, but it's not
right.
It's not really a starter ship.
A lot of people refer to that, or they refer to like the Avenger, the Titan.
Yep. Josh, did you have any comment on the flight mechanics?
I actually haven't flown the 100 series at all.
Good. Moving on. So
it's not a combat ship. He doesn't care
it's
about
it. It's not a combat ship. And it doesn't have a targeting pod. I'll just let you know.
Right, no targeting pod.
Useless, unplayable.
The next segment is the new inventory mechanics. This is personal inventory mechanics. This is a point or a new release that I think CIG has gotten right, and they're on the right track. And I really like the new features that you can do with these inventory mechanics. Basically, they're building off the building block tech that it's now paying dividends. You've seen it when they re-engineered the front end when you go in, and you're seeing it here in the new inventory. Now each armor segment that you had has a storage capacity and a storage quotient. You can access them separately. You can move items around between them. You can take items out of a compartments, although I think it's only limited to the rock at the moment. But that doesn't mean that that's just for testing. There and add those to your inventory. And so my question to the group is this the beginning of the end for our infinite bag of holding as we move through?
I think, yeah, go ahead, Josh.
I was gonna say, I think it is. I think we're going to probably get more storage options. I think they've mentioned backpacks like we have for the mining rig. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's kind of cool if you outfit a ship you have for different purposes, different weapons, whatever, for FPS purposes and whatnot. So I think it is, and I look forward to it as long as we can have those individual storage options, such as an extra storage container on your person, and then what you put in your ship.
I agree. I think we're headed that direction, but they've absolutely got to fix ships before the ability to store extra armor and extra flight suits and stuff in a ship and things of that nature. Because if you have like a Karak and you die and you lose your bag of holding, what do you do? What do you do when you respawn on a Karak or respawn on a Cutlass Red? There's not going to be anything there for you to throw on, no flight
Yeah,
suit.
I think you're going to see these these uniform lockers, the lockers you see in the crew quarters, or even just being able to have a trunk of some sort, being able to be used as a compartment, just like you would use a compartment on the back of a rock, or just like you use the compartment on your armor. You'll be able to load things in, load things out. Whether you'll actually see it initially, when they hang up when you hang up your uniform, will it appear in the locker or not? I'm not so much care about that, as long as I can access that compartment, see what the inventory is, and then take things out.
Yeah, and in larger ships, that's going to bring some. It's hold on, my wife is complaining about Hendros's internet connection. It resized him again. Anyhow, sorry. Moving on. I agree with you, but that brings in multiplayer gameplay. If you have a Karak, you're going to want to go in and load in a bunch of armor and a bunch of weapons, and then you're going to have to do inventory every time you decide to take it out. So it'll be a cool gameplay feature if and when they implement it.
Yeah, and it's also going to mean you're going to have to remember what you put where on your various ships and such. Nam, Hendrosa, do you have any comments?
Absolutely agree. This is the one of not the first step, but it's one of the steps on the way they had to get out of the way to have the physicalized inventory, as they call it. Uh, they're going to have some sort of off-ship storage, in my opinion, before they force us to have before they take away the bag of holding. They're not going to be able to just force us to just be on a ship. They're going to have to be somewhere on a station, on planet side somewhere, a locker we
Player
can throw
housing?
stuff into, player housing, that kind of thing. Yeah, good luck on that. It's going to be a while before we see that. But there's going to have to be some sort of station or planetary based storage before they also force us to store stuff on ships.
I
But
don't think player
yeah,
housing's that far off. I think that would be, believe it or not, would be something that would be fairly easy to do. If you went in and quote rented a room, or a room at the Azure Grand or whatever that thing is called, and you just went into the elevator and it had a your floor kind of icon. You click there, you walk out and go to your door. Those could be spawned on the fly and not be and wouldn't be all that difficult to do.
well, CIG, they don't have anything. They're gonna have they're gonna want to have like a concierge waiting at the door for you with it.
Yeah, something like that. But at one time, if I recall, at least on Area 18, you could put things in your hab that you spawned in. We all used to take the little turtles, put them back in our hab, and when I spawned back in again, that little turtle was sitting right there on the desk in the hab that I was in. And you could also, if you remembered your room number and your floor number, as long as you were in that play session, you could go back to that room and get back into it. They took that away a couple patches ago. You can't, as soon as you walk out of your room, you can't go back into it, nor can you, nor will anything persist in the hab room that I'm aware of right now. But that used to be there.
That's what
And I
happens
think,
when you go
It did.
past checkout time.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. It's only by
Yeah.
the hour.
That must be the Hurston ones. I don't know.
Single entry by the hour.
Yep, yep, yep. All right. So the last thing we want to talk about with the 311 release is not really a 311 release. It's coinciding with the time of the year, and that's the Halloween, or what do they call it? Season of the Vara, something like that. I don't know. But the Halloween event where you can actually earn items in the game by playing the game. I've heard it say by some of the streamers that and YouTubers that this is the first time you actually earn something in the game by playing the game. I tend to disagree because you can earn credits and buy ships, and now they're persistent. So it all depends on how you couch earning, and since it's free to you just by doing the event. But that's really the lack of a better term, the scarecrow helmet for finding Benny Hinge. A gameplay that I like, and that little Benny Hinge thing is a bear to try to find if you don't know the way to do it. And then the Vandal helmet that you can get by uniquely killing 50 of your fellow players with either a glaive or a gladius. And if they had just left it to the glaive, that'd have been all right, but nobody would ever get the dang helmet because that's like the worst ship in the game. But with the gladius, you can. And what you're seeing now is players organizing events to get those kills.
No.
So my personal opinion, which I'll go first. I think the scavenger hunt approach for the Benny Hinge, I think, is a good idea. I personally do not like the 50-player kill event, especially with immediately coinciding with get rid of the armistice zone firing around the things. I'm not sure. I understand where it's coming from, and yes, it's not as onerous as I originally thought. I'm not getting killed every time I go into the game now, which for the first week was the case, because I think players are gaming the system in a sense that they are getting together in organized groups to get the helmet rather than going around and trying to kill them. But
Here's
I'll
my
throw it out there.
comment. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to
Go ahead.
interrupt there.
Go ahead, Jay. Yeah.
Here's my comment on the subject. I know that ADI, which has a lot of online members, have been running player killer parties where they would go in and each kill each other once, kind of thing. And I know we've had some people successfully manage to do that and get the helmets, or helmet. So it's definitely being part of a large organization where you have a lot of players, where it's relatively easy over the course of a weekend to get 50 kills.
Mutually agreeable. So
Mutually agreeable, yes,
mutually
so that
agreeable.
you don't have anybody, they're not necessarily charging you and getting you thrown in prison. So
I have
Jay,
gotten
are
up-
you
Oh.
are
Go
you
ahead.
advocating joining a large org, Jay?
Yeah, some odd reason, I'm
Just
saying
wondering
that
why.
joining a large org might not be such a bad plan, especially
Bad idea.
if you want help with things like this.
Interesting. What was your comment?
They're good.
I
Real
was
quick.
going to say, they're. I've heard a lot of talk about, why are they having, like these events to go through and get things where literally a lot of folks are not going to utilize. I mean, they're great events. I mean, I know it helps, stir up the community and things of that nature, but you kind of put them out of so many people's reach, and or it really just doesn't have an effect in the verse to where it's like, when am I going to wear this? We're going to raid a Vandal ship and put my Vandal mask on and blend in.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm with Andres with that. And I think you're right, Turner. Now, do I mind the fact that this? Nah. I think you nailed it. You said, hey, it develops some enthusiasm what's going on. You're also 100% correct. There are parties out there. I have participated in myself. Now, I don't want the mask. I've got no kills. I think it's a stupid thing and I'll never wear it. So why the hell do I want to bother with it? But I've been on a red, put myself out at Henge, and I go ahead and sit out there by myself in the open saying, kill me, kill me. Hold on, let me get in front of your gun because you keep missing. Okay, there you go. Spot in the red, come back
Yeah,
out.
a little to
Who's
the
next?
left, a
Wants
little
to
to
kill
the
me?
left.
And to the left. Idiot. Hold on, let me just stand right in front of your gun. I actually had to do that a few times. But it's like I really don't care. I mean, if people are having fun with it, the good on them, enjoy it. But just it's not for me. I'll get the Betty Hedge helmet, which is again something else I will not wear just because I like going to Betty Hedge because it looks pretty cool. That's the reason I went out there to begin with. That plus to be a target for anybody else who wanted to shoot me. But you are correct. Absolutely, it cheapens the whole thing when you have 50 of us go out there and say everybody takes turns.
Yep.
Let's shoot each other. Okay, get a helmet. Yay!
I don't think CIG envisioned that. I don't believe they did when they thought up the
You mean
contest.
CIG doesn't envision all of the needs of a large org? That sounds like a future episode.
Ooh.
Shots fired.
I
Tom,
will.
what are your thoughts?
Well, I will say this. I'll agree with some of the streamers you referred to the degree that this is the first time you could earn something in game and it appear on your account, as in going to my hangar on the website, meaning that it will still be there even when and if they do a full wipe when this game goes live. You will have that item. That doesn't go for anything you bought with AUEC.
That is true.
That is true.
That is
I'd say go subscribe. You get a hell of a lot more stuff.
But it's
Yeah.
also
Yes.
this also goes back to something they've promised some time back. Was when they talked about getting paint skins for your ship. They had said there were going to be skins and other things you would only get by doing some event in game. You wouldn't be able to just pay for it with real money. This is the first time we've really seen that, and it's nice to see them follow through on a promise like that.
Fair
Agreed.
enough.
But I would rather them work more on that and give us more of a variation than, working towards like an in-game helmet I'm never going to use.
I kind of like the hill horror helmet personally.
Which one's that?
It's a
Basically the hills
scarecrow.
have eyes type thing, with the
Oh, the Benny
The
Hedge
mass
one.
killer one.
mass
Yeah,
killer.
whatever.
Serial killer.
That
one.
appeals to me for some reason.
I don't know. I don't
That's right.
know.
The guys I play with at ADI, and I'll go. Hey, look, man. If you're not gonna wear the uniform, it's fine. You don't have to. It's not an op. Please understand. I'll probably shoot you. I don't mean
show
to.
up with one
I'm
of those
sorry, but yeah, I don't
if you show
recognize
up
you.
with a bear
I'm
helmet,
shooting you.
you show up with a bear helmet, I'm shooting you. That thing is
Yeah.
scary. I'm not playing. Okay. Jay, that's all I had for 311. I know there's a lot more out there that we could have talked about for the segment. Things to come. Still waiting for the Star Runner to drop. That should be in a 311 X patch. I believe that's all the ship releases for this time. They've pretty much got everything in 311 that they're going to get that they've gone out. I will say that this has been probably one of the smoother releases of a patch. And we all remember last Christmas's dumpster fire that came out after the first of the year.
Oh my God, yes.
And then the next one, which I call Son of Dumpster Fire. Both of those were really, really tough. I do also believe that they're just about at the edge of their technology about rolling a lot more stuff out. They've got they've got server meshing, they've got iCache, and they've got a couple other things that they've got to get in. And when all that happens, I think it's going to look pretty interesting, and it's something to look forward to. So that's it for me.
Two more things. Reference 311. The first is the number that shall not be mentioned has gone down dramatically for me. I don't see it nearly as much as I used to. The other thing is party quantums seem to be working much better than they were in 310. So overall, I think 311 has been a success. I really, really do.
I agree.
Big step forward.
I completely agree. It's been a big success. So, okay. I guess we're only going to do 2 segments because that one took a lot longer than I thought it would. We're 45 minutes after the hour. So Josh and Nom put together or Numidius put together this thing of kind of ship upgrades during the anniversary sale and how to use them to your best benefit. So I will toss it over to Callie Josh and let him open it up with that, and then we'll kind of all do a little bit of a round robin after they get through their little checklist here. So, all yours, Josh.
Yeah, so a lot of us here are really heavily invested in this game and time, and some of us with the ships we have. And I personally, every year, have spent, I don't know, probably a ridiculous amount of time going through my ships and seeing what I wanted and kind of adjusting based on what I saw in the game and what I enjoyed doing. The anniversary sale, in my opinion, is one of the best times to take a look at your fleet, maybe apply some of the things you've learned in the game and decide if you want to make any changes. This can even just be something as simple as upgrading the insurance on your ship. But before we get into that, I want to read this preface because there's a couple ways you can get yourself in trouble. Number one, melting a ship for a repurchase makes that ship or those funds account bound. So be aware of that if you're going to engage in this process. Many of my ships are account bound because I've done buys and sells. You need to check the melt value of the ship you're selling versus the current purchase price. Many of the ships that are out there had an original price that was much less than the rebuy price. And oftentimes that rebuy price may come back up and you'll have to pay more money for a ship you already had. So be careful of that. Not all ships, or some of your ships may have game packages because not all ships have those. If that's your only game package, or if you want multiple packages, that's another consideration to use before going into this endeavor. But with that said, typically during the anniversary sale, there is some kind of LTI token ship. And by that, for anyone that doesn't know, what that means, that's usually a ship probably in the $50, $60, $70 range or less that has some kind of LTI token. On occasion, they're in the $30 ranges. And you can use that to upgrade to any of the ships that's possible to do a cross chassis upgrade. When you do that, you need to make sure that you are looking at the game package that you want, the ship that you're buying, and the insurance it has. Sometimes they have 10-year insurance available for existing ships you already own. I believe last year they had that for the Cutlass Black and a few others. So if you're looking for that, you need to dig through all the options in the ship sale to see you might have a free upgrade. You need to check the sale schedule because it's going to be over a period of time. Different ships are going to become available on different days. At the end, all of those ships will be available for a couple of days. So don't worry if you missed the initial release date. Another option you can do is if you just have credits in your account and you think you might have interest in a ship that's not normally available, you can take those credits, buy a cross chassis upgrade to that ship, and then melt it in 24 hours, and you can just stack full your buyback area. So that's another option you can have for the anniversary sale. I have several stuff in there of ships I may want. I think I have a Hercules in there that I don't own, but it might be part of it. So again, the anniversary time is a really good time to look at the different ships that are available, what you have, what you want, and where you might want to go. Now, one of the things I want to cover is the the game packages. If you're not aware, I think it was back in 2015 or 2016, they came out with a clarification on what it means to have more than one game package. And that can become an extra character for you should you lose your character, or it can also become a NPC, so a crew member that you don't have to pay, I think.
They said no on that you're not going to have an unpaid NPC.
Okay.
They clarified that some years ago.
But it's your NPC, right?
Yeah, after I bought
hiring.
3 packages where they clarified it.
Yeah. There's still a lot yet to be said there. There's a lot of different ways they can incentivize it, but there's nothing guaranteed at this point.
Okay. So again, with the ship sale, look out for the LTI token, look out for a 10-year upgrade for your ship. And, it's time to make any fleet adjustments that you have. I don't see if we have any questions. I don't see any questions on that topic. If there are, I'll try to get to them when we're done. Moving on from that, if you want something outside of CIG, there is the gray market, and I'm going to talk about how to be safe in the gray market if you choose to do it. And then we're also going to talk about what CIG stance is on that. Were we able to pull up the pictures for this one? The images?
No, I don't think she was able to get those ready to go. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So if you're on Reddit and you go to the gray market, there's something called confirmed trades. It's at the very top of the website. There's the monthly confirmed trade post. And in there, the attempt is to make things a little safer by when you click on someone selling a ship, you can see how many confirmed trades they have. The idea being that they're not going to scam you or take your money. Now, you could still be susceptible to some of the issues that have come up where people had bought ships with stolen credits and then they sold the ships and people lost them. So there is a definite risk to doing business in the gray market. But you can mitigate that a little bit. So one of the safest ways is to go to one of the big ship stores, especially some of the guys who have been around for years. I mean, there have been guys since day one who have been doing this, who have big reputations. You're going to pay a little bit more, but like anything, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So this is a little bit safer to do that. Also, there are scam alerts that are posted. If people are scammed, they typically post a link about that and the person's name. So you want to watch out for those things before you make your purchase. You also want to see the age of the account. I know that I've seen some accounts on there selling that had a month or a week old, and no offense, but that's just a little scary to me. So whether you're going to buy from CIG, whether you're going to go to the gray market, this is a really good time to look at those things. And with that, I'll let Nam tell you about all the scary stuff.
Well, great. No, basically,
Debbie
it
Downer
all
Nom.
yeah, buzzkill. Back in June 10th, 2016, CIG updated their terms of service. And I just want to read this one quick blurb. There's a lot of stuff in that terms of service to unpack, but this one paragraph I want to read real quick. The RSI services and the gifting functionality are not provided to facilitate or enable third party trades, and you are not entitled to any refunds or support by RSI or any of its affiliates in the event you have an issue with any trade involving a third party. The upshot is they're not obligated to help you at all if anything goes wrong on doing gray market trading. That said, they do try to do what they can in most cases that I'm aware of. But in the meanwhile, what can happen is, say an account was set up, they bought ships with a stolen credit card, you buy that ship, and then maybe they've had some legit trades so they would get a reputation, and then they sell the big stuff. You buy one of those. Maybe a month later, somebody reports that credit card stolen, disputes the charges, and suddenly that gets reported back to CIG because suddenly they got this account and they lock down that account and they lock down your account, anything that was connected with the transactions involved. And then it's on you to contact support to get them to unravel that, to at the very least get back your account with your legitimate ships. That can take weeks or even months depending. But they are under no obligation to bend over backwards to help you in these cases. That's the main thing you need to be aware of.
Yep.
So I say my personal opinion is just don't do it. Wait for the anniversary sales, buy what you want there, plan ahead for make part of the fun of the game is going to be earning money so you can buy what you want in game. Give yourself a goal. And that
Cole,
said,
I was
sorry.
just like Cole makes a good point there too. Is a lot of folks, if they're looking on the gray market, those gray market purchases are not going to go towards concierge.
That's a good point too. That gives you $0 for concierge. And you might, and what do you say if it's something you can get someday? What are you saving yourself? 5, 10, $40 maybe if you're lucky. It's not really, it's the only time it's, I guess you could say it was worth it if it's something you can't get otherwise. But is it really worth all that risk?
The flip
and
side of that is, and in all fairness, as somebody that has dabbled a little bit in gray market, there were times where it was real handy, especially those Mustang Omegas that we were picking up for $5 a piece, which were a game package.
Absolutely.
So I
I
mean, there's
get that.
definitely time to play. You know, I agree with you. Saving $10 on a gray market Super Hornet when you can go ahead and buy it, off the shelf with 10 years of insurance, or do an LTI token during the anniversary sale probably doesn't make sense. And that's why I think we talked about anniversary sale mostly, and then mentioned, hey, there is this gray market. But there's other stuff out there where from time to time you can, I mean, ADI as an org, all the members, we probably bought 200 of those Alpha Omega tokens off of eBay. Probably 200 at least.
And you're right, but those kind of deals, those days are done. One
Well,
of the
you say
things that
that,
seems
we
to
don't
drive a
know.
lot of people's interest is getting the ship with LTI. And like you pointed out, there are ways to do that now. I mean, you can buy like the 100 series just came out. There's always, for a while to come, there's probably going to be the next month or two ahead, there will be the next LTI token you can buy. Or
Or 10-year insurance.
or 10-year, in my opinion, 10 years just as good. And
Yeah.
honestly, if the game goes live and if after 10 years that causes you a problem, you're doing something really wrong.
Vehicles are wonderful LTI tokens. Those bikes that came
Mhm.
out and the G12s that came out, those were all good ones. I think one thing I'd like to mention just on the annual sale is that most people, unless you really delve into a lot about the ships and the ship list, don't realize that there are three types of ships that you get. One are the ships that are on the sale all the time. Every time you go to the pledge store, you'll see them. Then you have what's called time limited ships. Those time limited ships are the ones that they release at the annual sale or in any kind of CIG special events, like they did either in subscriber events, or they've had some in the past that they'll be focusing on those, like the Vanguard when the new Vanguard rolled out or something like that. So time limited ships. The last one are limited quantity ships. Those are the ones you'll probably find a lot of people searching the gray market for. Those are the ones that come out even at the annual sale. Unless your character name begins with the word bot, you're probably not going to get an opportunity to buy, because they just get sapped up so quickly. So those are the three ones, and there's various ways. Just Google it. You can also look in, I think CIG puts out information as well, if you dig far enough down, as to what are quantity limited, time limited, and always available. So keep those in mind too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and-
got two
and-
things. Two things I want to bring up, Josh, real quick. You had talked about the be careful what you melt, because it may be your package.
Yep.
You're 100% right on that. Please check that first. I have 3 packages, but the other thing to check for is Squadron 42. Of my
That's
3
right.
packages, only one of them has Squadron 42. So I'm never going to sell that one. That'll always stay with me. Currently, it's a merchantman, but that one I'll stick with forever. So watch out. Make sure you get that game, or you'll have to buy it again in the future for $40, whatever it's going to be, whenever Squadron 42 comes out. So if you get it, check it real carefully. And Turin, you're right about the vehicles. They're great LTI tokens. Keep in mind, it didn't used to be that way back whenever. If I bought a vehicle, it said specifically you can't upgrade it to a ship.
Right.
Now the vehicles I have, you can. So that was a nice change that they made, because I have a hell of a lot of vehicles.
Mhm.
So one thing I wanted to cover, since we're trying to make this more useful, and for anyone who has not been around Star Citizen, prototypically, if the ship is under $1,000, the first release of that ship comes with LTR, what's called lifetime insurance, meaning the basic ship as you bought it without upgrades or anything else will be returned to you should something happen to it. After the initial sale, it will have anywhere from 3-6 months, or during the anniversary, a 10-month sale option. So just be aware of that. And they've even said, and we don't really know the numbers, but that insurance on ships is not going to be your biggest expense.
Well, a couple of things in that space. One, insurance on an individual ship is not going to be a very big expense. Insurance on 20 ships probably is going to be more gameplay than most people are willing to invest in.
Yes.
So there's an argument to be made for, getting long insurance or LTI insurance, and it's worth the extra effort. If you're really excited about a ship, you can, unless it's a really low end ship, starter ship or something like that, it's really relatively easy to get 10-year or 1-year or lifetime insurance on everything. And
Are you admitting you have more than 20 ships, Jay?
no, because my wife is in the room.
And I'm not saying
I'm not
anything, 'cause this is
admitting.
being recorded. So
No, no, no.
Right.
On the other account, Jay, not the one she knows about.
I'm not
other-
admitting. I own one ship. One ship. That's
one
it.
ship I have-
Mustang Omega, $10.
Yes. I didn't even spend $10 on it.
But you're right, Jay. It's a number of ships you have. I got a ton of ships, and it's a matter of I don't want to do bookkeeping all the time, figuring out who's
Right.
doing what. Now, we've been told that, for example, let's say I'm going to fly some ship I haven't flown in eons. When I go to pull it out, I'll get a little warning saying, hey, you're taking this off without any insurance on it. Do you want to buy insurance now? Which is a magnificent feature if they indeed include that in the game. They'll say, yes, because I usually would crash them.
Yes, but completely agree about that. But at the exact same instance, you have to remember that no matter what it is, let's say you have to play an hour a month to pay for the insurance, which would be pretty minimal.
Yep.
If you have 20 ships, it's 20 hours worth of play every month if you want to fly all of them on a regular basis. So
Yeah.
I'm just pointing out that, it makes sense if you're an early backer to take advantage of LTI and to take
Yeah.
advantage of 10-year insurance. I think, what do you guys think about us doing the next show next month during the sale and maybe doing a buyer's guide?
I'm
Yeah,
good with
sure.
that.
That'd
I'm
be a
game
good
for
one.
that.
Sure.
Do we know exactly what the sale's going to be?
I think we do.
November.
It's going to definitely be in November. We'll wait to schedule the date of the show to be during that, during the sale,
Okay,
the
that'll
Saturday at the end of the sale.
Specific ships and the specific
Yeah.
options. Yeah.
And we can talk about that and how to do upgrades and provide some advice to the viewers. Just so everybody knows, we have 107 viewers right now, and we are
Cool.
either number 2 or number 3.
Thank you
Number
for putting up with us.
Yeah, actually, we're number 4. We were in the top 3, and somebody came in with 12,000
Oh,
Jeez.
viewers. So we're in the top 4 though.
Very sig.
Jolly, do you think we have? How long is this segment number 3 about your 30K? idea?
About 3 minutes. Real quick,
Oh,
guys.
let's go ahead and do that then.
Just so you know, I want to give credit where credit's due. I found this from a YouTuber called Hawks Gaming. So you can look him up on YouTube itself. HAWKES space gaming. And what he was talking about is, if you recall way back, whatever, we wanted to set your spawn point, you had to land at that station, whatever station that may be, that would allow you to spawn a ship. So you had to have that done. Then it was, you have to land up there. Well, make sure you use auto land for a little bit of time there. You had to do an auto land to get credit for landing at that station. Then it was, well, go in there, auto land, go inside, spawn a ship. And then you're probably safe on making that your spawn point. Well, things have changed dramatically. I'm not sure everybody's picked up on this yet, but now if you fly towards a station, let's say Everest Harbor, and you contact ATC, give your clearance for landing, and you don't land, Everest Harbor is now your spawn point. So if you go in there, go to Everest Harbor, yeah, I'm going to land here, go off to someplace else, that's your spawn point. That's something to keep in mind if you want to save yourself a lot of time, avoiding one thing or another. You can do the same thing at Lorville and other stations if you want to bother taking the border down there, get in there, get ATC clearance, and fly away, whatever the case would be. But what this results in is, if you have a load of cargo and you want it, you take off out of Lorville or whatever the case be, somewhere around Hurston or whatever the case, come up to Everest Harbor, do a flyby, call into ATC, get clearance to land, do not land, and then fly off to wherever you're going to sell that material. If you get a 30K, you're going to respawn at Everest Harbor, and your ship's going to be there with you. It's as if
Perfect.
you landed there. So that's a big change.
Oh, wow.
So
That's beautiful.
No, keep in mind, this is not, you will still get a 30. The point you pick up your material until you establish a new spawn point, you're at risk. You get a 30K, you're toast. But if you're going to sell down at a central business district at Lorville, which could take up time, to get down there and actually land. Stop by Evers Harbor, get an ATC clearance, then make that long trip down to Lorville and CBD in order to sell stuff. Now, what you call into CBD or excuse me, Lorville for clearance land, that's your new spawn point. So keep that in mind also. But if you're gonna do something across the system, stop by one of the not All-Star. Oh, you can do it All-Star too. I take it back. You can do it All-Star. Stop by All-Star, check in with them, don't land, do that long traipse across the system to your final spot. Actually, stop by Evers Harbor, check it again, and then head down to wherever you want to go to. So it was thanks to Hawks Gaming for pointing that out. He has tested it a few times. I've tested it too, and son of a gun, I did not think it would work, and it worked. It took a while for me to find a 30K, so I was kind of happy it worked for me. I was not carrying much cargo because I was looking for a 30K, but son of a gun, it worked.
Just a quick note too on
How-
on moving into the to those stations or even the planet side is before when folks would want to make the most out of their gameplay, they would be coming into that station and they go into their Moby Glass, their ship would automatically come to a stop. Well, now they actually implemented it to where you don't have to use your cruise control to keep moving. If you go into your Moby Glass under full power, your ship is still moving. So slow up as you're getting closer because you have to be pretty close to those stations to call in. And if you're not aligned just right, you'll smash right into them.
Is
Yeah,
that how
mid
close do
space,
you
your
have
open
to be
space.
for it to become your save point?
Huh?
You'll get
how-
a notice, Jay, Josh.
Josh?
I'll get it in a minute.
One of us.
You'll get there'll be a notice that comes out on your screen that says contact ATC for
ATC, yep.
landing.
Okay.
When you see that, you're close enough.
Okay.
Which
Well,
is
you
why
have to
Port
request
Alisar is
something,
great
right?
because when you come out of Quantum, you'll see that message immediately when you come out of Quantum, and so you'll be able to set your point there.
And like Hidrosa said, I
you
just
want to
point
request
above the
landing.
station so I don't hit it. Go to contact and say, hey, can I clearance to land? Or you clear to land? Then I fly off to where I want to fly off to. And
It's-
to answer Cobra's question, no, I did not lose my cargo.
Yep, that's the secret about this is you don't lose your cargo.
Yeah, it acts like as if you've landed there
Yep.
at the station
Yep.
until they patch it out. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Did I say that?
probably.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
To be honest, it's kind of a
Some
workaround.
crazier ideas.
So
Well, no, 30Ks is their fault, so they shouldn't patch it out. 30Ks
Yeah.
is their fault, not my fault.
It gives us a safety net. I like it. Maybe I'll go do some trading now.
That's all I had, Jay. Like I said, it was pretty short.
well, yeah, no, that was a great part. That was a very handy hint right there. So I think with that said, that we're at the end of the episode. And we're going to I don't think we're going to announce the new date because we're going to coincide it with the Saturday at the end of the sale in November. So I think that's the game plan. Yeah, it's over, Frost. You just missed it.
Could be
Too
Late
pretty
again,
close.
Frost.
Frost,
it'll
you
come
could
out on
join us
YouTube.
one of these days as a co-host, and that way you wouldn't miss it.
That'd be
Frost.
fun.
Yeah, I should Frost in here.
Yeah, Frost is here. It's all done. It's over.
Yeah, it's time to leave. You need to go back to all of us, honey. She's my wife is getting distracted. Okay, so with that said, Jolly, anything else you'd like to add for tonight's show?
No, keep playing, and we'll see you guys next November during the sale. I'm looking to see what's going to be up available for you. I pretty much have all the ships I want right now, but you never know what pops up there next.
Yeah, Turin.
Keep playing. Keep an eye out for the schedule for the sale. Just remember that, just like Josh had mentioned, if you miss the date, all the ships will be on. They don't go away just because they roll over the next day. They all come forward. And if you have a ship that you want to upgrade for the insurance purposes, you can melt it and buy it back, and there you go.
Yep.
Okay. And Josh.
No, I'm good. I'm just looking forward to putting some more time into 311. I really didn't get much time to test it in PTU or Evocati, so I'm looking forward to getting in and playing some more. And now that cargo is a little safer, that was usually a pretty good way to make some money. So I got some ship upgrades I want.
Cool. And Nobidius.
I've actually been having fun with it since it dropped. Prospector asteroid mining has actually been pretty productive and pretty stable. I've been
They
enjoying that.
fixed the disappearing
I
little
have not had a
rocks.
single one disappearing.
Yes.
every now and
wow.
then I'll get some asteroids that will not scan, but
Yeah.
other than that, I can just move on to the next rock. And one thing to look out for is more and more they're selling ships that have been out to not ships and vehicles that haven't been out very long. They're adding them to the ship stores in game. They just added the Rock to the store for like 172 Alpha UEC, and it's just it gives you an option to think about maybe I'll just melt this ship, buy it in game, have it for a while, and use that credit towards something else that came out.
Sure. And Hendrosa, anything you'd like to add?
No, thank all you guys for turning out. Thank you guys so much for supporting the stream here. HangarReady brings a lot of good information to all you guys, and you guys suck it up. You guys ask great questions, so it really helps make the show. So thank you.
Yep. A couple things real quick. Shout out to Hendrosa, who's also streaming on a regular basis. And you guys should check out his stream. He streams, I think, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday,
Yes, sir.
and in the evenings. And then big shout out to Jaglin, my beautiful bride of 20 years. She is, you can see her there in the dark in the studio. She is working on some YouTube tutorial videos that we're publishing on HangarReady. And if you guys haven't taken a chance to check it out, go check it out on the HangarReady YouTube. That's also where we release all of these episodes. So if you've missed past episodes and want to check them out, go ahead and head over to the YouTube channel. There should be a link in the channel description.
You
here.
mean all those things I said about CIG are recorded forever?
Yep.
Yes. Clearly, somebody at
Your
CIG
account's
has been
locked.
looking at them. So, because they fixed a couple of them. They put the coffee cart next to the elevator so you can grab some food and drinks. But go check them out. She's done 2, and a third one should be coming out this week. Just kind of, it's for new players or people that haven't visited certain places. If you don't know how to get around New Babbage, that's what these 3 videos are about. How to wake up and the quickest way to get over to the spaceport. Now, for all of us that have been playing quite a bit, we know how to do that. But for newer players, if you've got friends that are getting into this, it should be a cool playlist to give them so that they can go look up how to navigate. Because she complained repeatedly. She kept getting lost and didn't know where things were at in the game. And I said, well, you should create some YouTube videos and show this off because nobody else has those. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Anyhow, that's what we're doing. So there's more stuff on HangarReady. I should be back streaming as soon as NVIDIA gets some RTX cards available for us. So
It'd be good to have you back.
I would be happy to do it. If I could get my hands on an RTX 3080, I would be streaming already. So
We'll see you next year, huh?
yeah, see me next year. 2020. Yeah, I'm not happy about the NVIDIA stuff. So, and the sad thing is I don't think the AMD stuff is going to matter. So, okay. With that said, we'll see you guys next month, the Saturday towards the end of the sale. Everybody take it easy and have a wonderful Thanksgiving if we don't see you before then.
Have a great night.